I met a couple who moved in. They'd put their deposit down before we were constructed in 1995 and said, if we ever turn 80, we'll do this.
Wait a minute. Wait, at what age did they put their deposit down?
I think they were in their 50s.
This is Just Call Claudia, a podcast for right-sizing your life and demystifying your relocation. Today I'm joined by two professionals from Lake Forest Place, which is a Presbyterian living community in Lake Forest, Illinois. I'm joined by Marianne Doyle and John Janco. John is Senior Director of Marketing and Sales, and Marianne is Marketing Coordinator. Welcome. I think this is so exciting. I remember sitting in your office last year saying, would you be on my podcast? And you looked at John, and I think you both said, yeah, whatever she means by that. And so welcome. I'm so very exciting. But what I failed to say also is the two of you help families and individuals navigate the process of moving and transitioning in a very pivotal time in their life. So bravo you. So let's start with John. A background on you, please, sir.
Thanks for having us. I came to senior living about 6 years ago in a later life career change. I'd been in hospitality for about 30 years, so different hotels. I started my college job was at the Palmer House in downtown Chicago, and it was always great to be a part of Chicago history.
Oh, for sure.
And I really enjoyed that. And my career took me around the country, and the love of my life brought me back to Chicago, and that's where I pursued my senior living career. I've joined Lake Forest Place about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
After a couple other senior living experiences here in the Chicagoland area, and it's just been it was a great decision and a great place to be every day.
Well, you are a natural, and the way your team flows together, and I think that really there's so much positive energy in your office, and I think maybe is this a good time, because we don't want to leave out other key players in the transitioning process at Lake Forest Place. Our friend Genevieve Mergel and Lisa Morrissey, with whom I work often, right? And because anybody who's listening or watching needs to know, it's not just the two poobahs here. There are other essential players, right?
Oh, exactly. I was just gonna say, Lisa Morrissey is our residency counselor.
Okay.
And to your point about us holding people's hand through this decision process, I think it's great that counselor's in her title. That's exactly what we do. So Lisa and I are the ones dealing with folks as they're first considering this option and then guiding them through the decision to ultimately move to Lake Forest Place.
Right. All right, Marianne, you're up. Okay. How about your background? I know you've lived on the North Shore for a long time, and you've been with Lake Forest Place for 11 years.
Yes.
So I need to hear the trajectory, because it's got to be, you know everything about Lake Forest Place, I'm sure. I'm sure you do.
Well, I, like John, started out in hospitality many years ago. Yes, I did an internship at the Conrad Hilton. A short stint at the Palmer House, a little bit before John. And then I did a career in consumer products for food companies. Took some time off to raise my family. And then somehow, some way, ended up in skilled nursing for a nursing home back in about 2012.
Okay.
And that job led me to Lake Forest Place. And so I worked in admissions there for a while, about a little over a year. And then I was moved over to the independent living side, that is where I met you. And I helped navigate move-ins to Lake Forest Place, and also transitions from independent living to assisted living and memory support.
Yeah. So I remember meeting you. We had a quick conversation about this the other day. I was hired by the Northern Trust to attend to some inventory, a very lovely cottage at Lake Forest Place, right? And I remember you came and met me so I could gain entry. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, so Lake Forest. She is so Lake Forest.
Thank you.
And I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants, because I'm all over the place. And I think from then on, I probably wore something. I remember specifically wearing a Burberry plaid skirt the next time, because I felt like just wanted to make sure I could fit in as well. So that was impressionable.
I was just thinking about that. It was probably around this time, probably around nine years ago, a winter day, and I got a phone call from Northern Trust, and they said, you're going to meet Claudia. The family has hired her for this vacate. So in my new role, I was just focusing on people moving in, not the vacate part. So this is my first experience where, yes, people do leave and they have to get rid of their things here. And then you were there and I met you, and instantly you had everything just like we're moving things, 3 different states, creating artwork, doing this and that. And I just remember standing there going, this is fantastic. This is fabulous, this organization. Went back in the afternoon. Everything was marked with Post-its, all ready to go. And so you were my very first experience with the vacate. Process. So.
Glad to know that. So we vacated that idea of the sticky note, and now we go to much more efficient and long-lasting, color-coded, the famous painter tape. We use painter tape. My teams walk around with like bangles of painter tape. Well, anyway, not to digress. So I understand, because we've never really talked the turkey of Lake Forest Place, because that's not really my job. I just am grateful to be brought in and help people with their floor plans and help them plan for their move. And then obviously executing the move and installing them it's really a cherished position for us. But I want to hear about the life plan community thing, the foundation, the Geneva Foundation. So I understand, because I never speak to that, but I could someday.
Lake Forest Place is a beautiful campus on 66 acres in Lake Forest. We have around 110 cottages, around 160 apartments of independent living, but we offer the continuum of care, having memory support, assisted living, and skilled nursing right on the same campus.
That's amazing.
People have been coming to us since we opened in 1998 for peace of mind. Our people have a plan that they want, that they've decided how they want to live the later years of their lives out. We offer luxury living, activities for people to do, excellent dining, a beautiful campus, so that people can really enjoy this part of their lives.
So true.
We're part of Presbyterian Living, and Presbyterian Living originated as Presbyterian Homes back in 1904 with our first location, and have grown over the years. We have campuses in Evanston, Arlington Heights, and Lake Forest. We transitioned branding from Presbyterian Homes to Presbyterian Living a little over a year ago to really focus on the living.
Okay, great.
About what the lifestyle is like. And we definitely offer a beautiful luxury Lake Forest lifestyle for our residents.
Totally. John, I'm not sure what the Geneva Foundation is.
The Geneva Foundation is the philanthropic arm of Presbyterian Living. So they partner with our residents for planning their legacies. For our residents that have donated to the Geneva Foundation, they support our benevolence. So joining a life plan community means you have a place for life, even if you outlive your assets. And we've had people who've thrived and lived much longer than they anticipated. And in those rare cases, we know they've got a place for life with us. Geneva Foundation also supports our staff members. There's a scholarship program. We've had folks join us as a CNA and gotten scholarships to work toward their nursing degrees.
Oh, wow.
And improve along the way.
That's lovely.
And they also have an emergency assistance program for our residents. If something happened to someone's spouse and suddenly they needed to make rent, we actually have a support system for our associates. So it's very supportive of the community. They can also work with us on enhancements to fulfilling our mission. So it may mean adding a new feature to a community. It might be improving a program. We've had donations that have come through the Geneva Foundation to improve Lake Forest Place specifically, that came from a philanthropic thought from one of our residents or their families.
That's amazing. So does this also translate as your staff, the members of that work within Lake Forest Place? Do you have a more consistent group? You don't have a lot of new hires because there's such you take care of your own, it sounds like.
It's definitely one of the benefits and part of the culture of Presbyterian Living and Lake Forest Place, knowing that we've got these other benefits for our associates, and they can work toward building their career and building their education.
Yes, that's really cool. My understanding is that Presbyterian Homes / now Presbyterian Living was founded in 1904. So which campus, where was it started first?
The original campus is no longer, but our current existing campus that dates back to 1929 is in Evanston.
Oh, it's the Westminster in Evanston. Okay,
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got that. All right, so why don't we talk about the amenities of Lake Forest Place, because they are vast, and because it is a campus, and I wouldn't say a countrified, but you've got more of a, not out in the country by any means, not to diminish the fact that you're next door to Lake Forest Hospital, for goodness sake. You know, it's very sophisticated, but there are so many amenities that are not offered for city or even most suburban senior communities, right? So why don't you share?
We've created 3 beautiful, distinctive neighborhoods of cottages that provide beautiful walking trails. One of the favorite resident amenities is our gardens. So we've got the opportunity for residents to have a raised garden bed in a beautiful garden setting that's on one little nook in our campus. And it's fun to see the variety of things people work on in their gardens over the summer, from beautiful flowers that then sort of start decorating our public areas and their welcome ledges in their apartments and in and around their cottages, to vegetables, and people will show up in our office with a little bag of tomatoes or whatever. But it's fun to see the enthusiasm for the gardens that are on the campus. But besides those amenities, we have 2 distinctive dining venues, a casual dining outlet, the Bistro, and then the Inverness Dining Room, which is a little more formal, traditional, tableside service, white tablecloths, an excellent, elegant dinner experience. When I first arrived at Lake Forest Place, someone said it reminded them when it was built of the country clubs in the area. And so it has that feel to it. As time goes on, our dining room doesn't have a formal dress code, but our residents dress for dinner.
Love that.
And so it's always a beautiful experience there. Things people talk about what they enjoy at the community are especially our programming. So we've got a variety from fun and games to lecture series. We have a partnership with Lake Forest College for a class that's brought in every semester.
A continuing study class.
Correct.
They get together once every Thursday morning or whatever it is.
Correct. But that one's put on by the college, but at our campus.
Great.
Parties. Just a variety of programming.
Happy hour, I know. I mean,
Happy hour.
Lucky to be included in a very, very active happy hour group. I was so impressed that night that you invited me, and just chit-chatting with everybody who was there, whether they were a guest or whether they loved it, and talking about the attributes and talking about, I did it. I love this. Why did I wait so long? We don't know why we didn't do this sooner. We want to talk about Club 1904. So explain 1904 for us.
Sure. Club 1904 is our ready list. And it's also a club with benefits for those people who are ready and waiting for their new home to become available for them. So we prioritize folks by specific floor plan. Our folks know what they like and they know what they want. And so it isn't a matter of, I want a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. They want the Breckenridge 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, or whatever specific layout they have in mind. So they're visualizing their future on it. So we organize them by type of unit, and then that way we have a running list. The next time one of those units comes available, that's the first person we're calling. Those people are pre-qualified, so they've done a wellness assessment with us. They've done their financial background check with us, so they're ready to move in. And typically, we're running at a very high census, the number of occupied units we have, that I don't readily have something available for someone to come in off the street. So people have to plan. Right. And so while they're on the priority list, they become members of Club 1904. We have benefits for them. They can attend the resident programming we offer folks. They can attend a dinner once a quarter. They can use our fitness center, which is wonderful. It has 2 indoor pools.
Yeah.
So they can use the amenities of the community. The programming piece becomes key. We've had several couples in the last few years that have come to move in with us after being in Club 1904 and have met several residents through the opportunity of attending programming. So they already walked in with a community of friends before they ever moved in. And it just really makes them much more comfortable when they arrive.
Isn't that assimilation early, and why wouldn't you want to be around not necessarily all like-minded people, but people who have the same spirit of being planners, being almost like preppers, I guess we'd call them, which is great because your residents are enjoying their lives. You see it, the spirit, certainly what you both and your whole team brings to it. There's a continuing of a relationship. How many times you know everybody by name, everybody's welcome in your office, no matter how many years they've lived there. And there's just such an amazing spirit. But the cottages, because that's one of our strong suits, is moving many families or individuals out of massive homes. And I want to talk about the customized plan, because I have seen some customization into your cottages, which is kind of like remarkable, almost like bringing a castle from Ireland and putting it someplace in Lake Forest, because people really do go, they really love the fact that they don't have to give up, right? They can have their cake and eat it too. It's amazing. So let's talk about that customized plan.
Genevieve Mergel, who's our construction manager, works with our incoming residents. Once they put their 10% deposit down, their new homes come available, and we'll work with them to create their home. And they'll usually work with the residents, their designers, their planners, to lay out what it is they want to see. And it can be as simple as, I chose the paint color, to, I want this wall removed and I want to increase the size of this space. And we've done amazing things to units.
Amazing.
Lots of things can be done. There's some costs that go with them, but most everything can be done to suit people. I think we were just talking the other day, there was a couple that moved in that recreated in their cottage beautiful doorway arches that our construction team recreated from their home to be able to give their new cottage the same feel that their existing home had, so that they really felt at home when they walked in there. But one of the things we do when a cottage comes available, we're going to identify what we're doing to bring it back to our current market standards. So we may be renovating a kitchen, we may be renovating bathrooms, we may be doing flooring. The new resident can pick out those things from our selections, or it's the time that they can choose upgrades and take it to whatever level they want.
What are the connectors that you feel that an incoming resident experiences when they come to Lake Forest Place? Where does Lake Forest Place resonate with that incoming resident? Is because it's more rural-ish, it's more country club, or I know people that have moved up from the city. And so what was that resonance? Was it just the team supplying and the food? What do you hear? What do you hear from your residents?
What I often hear after they come for a visit, and I've moved people in from California, Montana, Utah, Florida. They always are when they come back, they're like, I can't believe how just welcoming everyone is. I feel like I've been here for a long time.
Wow.
Everyone is welcoming. I feel very comfortable. Staff friendliness, but really from the residents that already live there. I mean, I moved in a woman from New York and didn't know a soul here, and came from Manhattan, and she's here, and she just was, not familiar with the area, not familiar with Lake Forest, and she just was so amazed at how welcoming the residents and friendly everyone
is
at the community.
I couldn't agree more. One of the favorite parts of my job is I'm touring someone around the community who's considering us. And sometimes this is someone who's nervous, who finally took the big step to go into a senior living community of some sorts and look around. When I'm touring someone and we have an encounter with a resident, unplanned, and they're always just golden moments. The residents, they're sort of like my little cheerleaders, like, oh, come on, you'll get this one to come in. But they will reach out to the person that we're touring and put their mind at ease, going, it's really a great place. I've been here for 5 years. I should have done it sooner.
I should have done it sooner.
But they're always very welcoming. And part of the process, when I want someone to start to experience the community as they're considering us, if I'm inviting someone to dinner, I'll always tell them, I'm not going to dine with you. You don't need me talking your ear off. It's not that I don't like you, but I want you to experience the community. So I'll either set them up on their own, if it's a couple, maybe they'll come in by themselves, or we'll set them up with a resident. But then they get the opportunity to experience the community. And usually, some resident will ask them who they are and why they're here.
Oh, yes.
And then on their own, tell them what a great place it's been and how they'll look forward to being here. And can I reach out to you again and answer any questions for you? But our residents are very welcoming in the community.
Well, you engender that. You've created, you are in a sense a family. And does it differentiate between the vertical living, as they call the big house? Is that what, which is cracking me up? I always thought the big house was a jail or something, but that's hardly the vertical living. Does it differentiate between cottage owners and condo apartment dwellers? Is the welcoming pretty much the same?
I would say the welcoming's the same. As we said, there's 3 distinct neighborhoods within Lake Forest Place. And so it's like coming into a new neighborhood. The neighbors down the street will want to welcome you and make sure you're comfortable and at home. So I have seen that just happen. It's different apartment living. So we've got our independent living apartments all centered around our town center, where all of the amenities of independent living life are. But people will pass in the hallway because it's an apartment living, and there's a little more day-to-day direct interaction amongst residents.
Right.
In the big house, as we lovingly refer to it, but in the main building where we have our apartments.
Okay. So walk our listeners or viewers through. So one would call Lake Forest Place. They would be directed to you, most likely, to chit chat, or would it be to our marketing coordinator, Marianne? Typically,
folks will go to Marianne first.
Okay.
Marianne is usually their first point of contact. If someone is just randomly calling in, they'll call Marianne. She'll find out a little bit about what they're inquiring about. And then Marianne does a great job of then delineating them between myself and Lisa Morrissey to make sure, that we're just sort of all can be able to contact everybody quickly and be responsive to them. But then we're usually going to talk to someone on the phone, find out it is sort of where they're at in their thinking and discovery process, learn a little bit about them, and then set up a time that they can come experience the community for themselves. We'll spend some time with them and get to know them. That way we can highlight those parts of the community that mean more to them, so that they have a good experience while they're here. And then from there, it can vary depending on the person. For some folks, it could be a couple-year process before they move in and move to a cottage, making the decision.
Right.
One extreme case, right after I moved in, I met a couple who moved in. They'd put their deposit down before we were constructed in 1995 and said, if we ever turn 80, we'll do this.
Wait a minute. At what age did they put their deposit down?
I think they were in their 50s.
Yes.
I think they were in their 50s. We'd done a presentation at the Presbyterian Church in Lake Forest, and they put their deposit down, and in September of 2024, they moved in. That's an extreme case.
That's extreme.
But it can vary person to person of what they need. I think there's a lot of thought of is a life plan community for me? And we may have said it earlier. Our folks are planners. Right. I've had plenty of people say, I'm doing this because I want to have a plan in place. And I don't want my children to have to make these decisions for me.
Right.
So I'm putting a plan in place. I'm going to be here, enjoy the independent living, the maintenance-free lifestyle, knowing we've got care available should my needs change as I age here at Lake Forest Place.
For more information on Lake Forest Place, visit their website or reach them by phone, 847-604-8800. Thanks for listening. You can follow me on Instagram at CMFTO or check out our website, cmfto.com, to learn more about my business.